Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of what Indians are all about.
I still say we Indian people are believers in the truth. This is the way of life that was given to your people. You're born an Indian, you're going to die an Indian. Indianness is a good life. You're facing an Indian this afternoon.
Good Saturday afternoon out there, everyone. Welcome into your #1 source for Native American television news, Native News Today. And I am Jason Salzman, your host, here in the Mvskoke Media Studios. Happy to be joining you this Saturday afternoon here on CW 1219. So glad that you could join us, and all of those out there that join us online. We're really growing by leaps and bounds with every week on our online subscription numbers. A lot of people going to our channel, our YouTube channel there, Native News Today. A simple search will get you right to our channel. We've got videos up of everything that we do here on the show. We're cataloging episodes, so if you miss an episode on TV, you can go back and watch it on there. Also, very noteworthy, putting up some of the old episodes, so you can see, gosh, we're on 500, and we're north of 530 episodes right now. So we're steaming, towards a big number with each passing episode. So if you go back, and as I said, we're past 530, so you can go back and see episode number 42. It's amazing to see where we come and how far we've grown, and it all has to do with you folks out there. We don't have the big budget like a lot of other television programs do to market ourselves and promote. It's all been done sort of grassroots and by word of mouth. So we want to say that we really appreciate our fans out there and the people that watch us and spread the word about Native News Today here on the CW. We've got a great show this week, lots of things to get to. As you've seen our videos here recently on the per capita payments, the permanent fund. This week we'll explain to you a little bit about blood quantum. A lot of people talk about it, what it means, what it is, what restrictions it applies here at Mvskoke Creek Nation. We'll look through all that. Plus, don't go anywhere, because after this first break, we'll introduce you to the new Secretary of the Nation here at Mvskoke Creek Nation. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Native News Today. And welcome back into the studio as we get ready for this week's show. And to get us started off, we had a special in-studio guest join me this week, and it is none other than the new Secretary of the Nation, just recently confirmed, actually Secretary of the Nation and Commerce of the Mvskoke Creek Nation. This position, of course, overseeing the Mvskoke Loan Fund, self-governance, the new replaced Tarot program, and also going to be looking over lots of things, and he will talk to us about that. But it is Mr. Eli McIntosh. I've known Eli for a long time, and I was so glad to hear his name come up and him to come through. He's got a great resume. He brings a lot of experience from the private sector, working with the Federal Association of Credit Unions. Also, he was a financial planner and an ex-Marine. So a great guy. Wanted to welcome him in, introduce him to our audience, and we had the pleasure of having him in studio right here on Native News Today this week. And we're so happy to be joined in the studio now with the Mvskoke Creek Nation Secretary of the Nation and Commerce, Eli McIntosh. Eli, thanks for being with us here in the studio today.
Thank you for having me, Jason.
You bet. Now, normally when you and I talk, there's not cameras. We're old pals from Eufaula, but it's great to have you in not only here today, but also here at Mvskoke Creek Nation. You've been in office now for not very long, pretty new on the job still. How have things been going, and how have you acclimated to the office so far?
Well, I'm very excited to be here, very excited to be with the tribe. It's been going very well so far. It's very busy, just getting, like you said, acclimated to the office, finding out all the departments that fall under me, and picking up. There wasn't anyone within my position for about 3 months before I came into it. So just getting everything back up to speed. We've been working on that, and I kind of feel like we've made a lot of progress in that area. And so we're really looking to start moving forward now.
Let's talk about your background real quick. Before coming into the cabinet of a tribal administration, really, you hadn't been involved with tribal government, but in the outside world, the private sector. But talk a little bit about your experience and sort of what led you to this point.
The past 6 years, I've been a examiner with the National Credit Union Administration, been a credit union examiner. And within that role, we went around the credit unions. We were the regulator, and then we also evaluated their business practices. And so within a portion of that was strategic planning. Within my office, we attract the economic and business development of the tribe. And so I have a background in evaluating strategic plans. That was a portion of what we did during our exams, and so I feel like that gave me a lot of background in evaluating product implementation, product development. Sat down with a lot of CEOs and how they manage their operations. I've been inside a lot of large credit unions. Just last year I was inside over 4 credit unions that were over $1 billion in asset size, and so you get kind of used to seeing large numbers and then kind of their business practices and how those large organizations are structured. And so I feel like that gives me some background as far as the economic development part of it. Within that, also, what falls underneath me is the Mvskoke Loan Fund. And so, of course, we evaluated lending programs. And so I feel that gives me a little bit of background as far as that area, how we're going to develop that program going forward.
When you come in and you do look at some of the things that you're charged with keeping track of here at the Nation, as you said, the Mvskoke Loan Fund, you look at that and what have you seen so far, and are you encouraged by some of the ideas that you can bring to the table?
Yes, I am. Very excited about that program. It can be a really great program for the tribe. Right now, what it is set up for is to do small business lending. Our target, really, we're a community development financial institution underneath the Department of Treasury, or we're at least certified as a CDFI, but we fall under the tribe. What we do within that is, really our target audience is Native peoples looking to start a business that typically wouldn't qualify for a loan at a bank or a credit union that does business lending. Within that as well, we have the Small Business Development Center in there as well. The way we have that program set up is right now is if an individual is looking to set up a business, they can start the Small Business Development Center, and then they can work on their business plan, get it developed, get the numbers all together, and then they'll be referred to the loan fund, and then they can go in there and apply for the loan, go through the underwriting process, and hopefully get qualified and get funding for their business.
Yeah, and that's something that you and I, before off camera, when you first came in and we talked about you taking over the position, we really shared a passion as far as wanting to see. Every year we see the tribes talk about diversifying their economic streams. Let's not saturate with gaming. Let's find different things. And you and I had specifically talked about the tribal youth and really getting them involved in the business world, the business aspect. Don't you think, and I think that you shared that with me, but don't you think that these things, the programs that you were talking about, sort of helps foster that and gives them a leg up?
Yes, I believe so. As we discussed, I think the greatest benefit to the program will be on down the line. Hopefully the youth, they will see within their own families and relatives, they'll see that it is possible as a Native American to be a business owner. Right. And I believe going forward that will create diversity within our tribe and it make our tribal members more independent going forward, that they can be a business owner, they can be a driver within the economy, and create their own independence. And I feel that that'll make our tribe as a whole stronger going forward, having that within it.
You also come in and you look at things that the tribe has done over the past couple years that maybe that you, like we talked about, had been in the private sector, but you come in and look in and you see a program that we had like TARO, Tribal Employment Rights Office. Now we sort of have not really a substitute, but a different named program there. Yes. Talk about that and what you've seen there and your encouragement as far as going forward with that type of operation.
Well, right now, we're still evaluating exactly what we're going to do with that program. As you stated, it's been renamed to Contracting and Employment Service Office. and we're still meeting and designing kind of strategically how we're going to move that office forward. And so we're still, I would say, as far as right now, maybe more in the discussion part of it. I mean, we're looking to move forward with it, to make it work on both sides, make it work for the tribe, and then to also get our citizens employed as well, because that's really the target of that program, is to employ citizens and put them to work.
And I know that you talked about you have some big meetings coming up where you're excited about getting a lot of like-minded people in the room where you guys can talk about moving forward.
Yes, and so we're looking forward to that. We have those meetings scheduled. Well, I won't say scheduled. We're looking to start those meetings within the next week.
Great. And also under your office, self-governance. Can you talk a little bit about that and your understanding of it so far?
Yes. That's a really interesting office in how it operates. Underneath the Indian Self-Determined and Education Assistance Act of 1975, we're a self-determined tribe. And what that means is the federal funds that are allocated to our tribe, they come to us through the BIA. And as a self-determined tribe, we get to decide how we're going to allocate those funds. Instead of, if we were not self-determined, then the BIA would dictate what those services, those funds are spent on. And so the tribal leadership is then able to allocate those funds to different programs. And it doesn't always provide the full funding for a program, but it can provide a material amount to get the program going, and then we can come in as a tribe, and then we can also add additional funding into it and make the program stronger and to make it really work. And so that's a very, very excited about what's going on in that office. We're looking to go out to Washington, D.C. in March, and that's when they're going to have the negotiations. We go in and negotiate with the BIA as far as the allocations, and so we're going to head out there, and then it's going to be there's 2 representatives from the tribe. We went to a meeting last week, and the 2 representatives for the Eastern District office were nominated, and then they're going to go out there and negotiate on their behalf. So we're very excited about that.
Wonderful. Moving along and talking about the different responsibilities of the Secretary of the Nation, you know, here at the tribe, it's going to come up. It always does. We've had the last 2 chiefs have a petition come up against them. We've had petitions to change the Constitution, things like that. A lot of people out there really don't know the process, but in the Constitution, it does say that those petition processes comes to the office of the Secretary of the Nation.
Yes.
What is the process there, Eli, when a petition comes up, or just sort of take us through what has to happen?
My understanding is, from reading that section of the Constitution, is that if a citizen wants to bring forth some type of legislation outside of the National Council, outside of the chief, then they get it together. It's 8% of the voters in the last general election for the principal chief have to sign the petition, and they have to sign off on the full text of it. And then once they get that together, then they bring it to my office, and it's addressed to the principal chief, but it gets filed in my office, and then it goes forward from there for a vote of the people.
But so before it comes to you, before it gets away from you at all, there has to be the required amount of signatures on it, is that right?
That is my understanding, is that they get everything together, and then they file it within my office.
Okay. Well, also, you know, when you look at what you've done, we talked about your experience with the federal and the credit unions and things like that. A lot of people out there would say, yeah, it's a great gig. It's a wonderful thing that you were able to be involved in there. So Chief Floyd comes calling and wants you to be a part of the cabinet. What was it, Eli, that made you say, I want to go do this? Was it a feeling of maybe duty as a citizen, or just a change up? What was it in you that wanted to take that leap?
Well, I feel that, you know, I think every Mvskoke Creek citizen at some point wants to come work for the tribe, contribute to the tribe. And so I've always wanted to come back, but I also wanted it to be the right opportunity. And for me, really the deciding factor was I get a good feeling about Chief Floyd and his leadership. I feel that under his leadership, people feel comfortable to do the right thing. And that's very important, I think, within our culture, as far as our business culture of the tribe. For example, recently we had the ethics training, and he's looking to get together a working group and really develop a whistleblower hotline if someone sees something wrong. And so when I see that within the leadership, that's very important to me, is that, we can come in, we can do the right thing, that he wants to do the right thing. And so for me in this position, I work directly under him, so it was very important to me. And so it was really an opportunity to work for him as well. He's, when I've been around him in meetings, he's very intelligent, very knowledgeable. And so that was an exciting part of it, because as you stated, I was in the private sector. I just gotten promoted right before I took this position, and but it was really the opportunity to come back and have a positive impact.
Well, we're glad to have you. As far as Mvskoke Creek citizens, it's always good to have that cabinet rounded out with people that we know are intelligent. And also, I use the word duty because a lot of people may not know, also a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. So definitely thankful for your service there, and glad to have another veteran in the fold, and glad to have you in studio today, Eli. We appreciate your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or anything you'd like to the citizens of the Mvskoke Creek Nation to know about the Secretary of the Nation and what you have planned?
Just that I'm really excited to be here, and that we're really evaluating the economic opportunities for the tribe, and really looking to move forward and do exciting things, really develop. Like I said, we're going to have a strategic planning session, and we're really looking forward to that as far as the direction of the tribe.
Well, we're looking forward to working with you here, and hopefully get to talk to you a lot more, and the cameras ain't rolling. Just come over and see me. All right, thanks, Eli.
Appreciate
you, man.
Thank you.
And our thanks again to Eli McIntosh for joining us in studio. We wish him all the best. Of course, if he's doing a great job, the Mvskoke Creek Nation is prospering. We want to see that. So I want to thank him for coming in, visiting with us, and being candid in his responses. And that'll be available online as well on our YouTube channel and on MvskokeMedia.com if you missed it or want to see it again. Moving along, as I told you earlier in the opener, we've been doing a video series here recently, or showing a video series recently to you. Jared Moore's really done a fantastic job with some informationals. We've taken some subjects that have been sort of ambiguous to some citizens. Some citizens maybe know about it or know about these subjects, but some don't. They don't know how they really work in practice here at Mvskoke Creek Nation. As I said, we've covered per capita payments. We've covered the permanent fund. Next up is blood quantum. A lot of people don't know that if you're not a quarter, if you're a quarter or more, then you can run for office. If you're less, you can't. So this is an informational video on blood quantum.
Mvskoke Media presents What is Blood Quantum? Every Mvskoke Creek Nation tribal citizenship card has a notation for blood quantum, but this notation is not determined by scientific analysis or genetic DNA testing. What is the origin of blood quantum in relation to MCN citizenship, and how is it determined? Tribal citizenship in the Mvskoke Creek Nation is defined in the MCN Constitution, Article 3, Section 2 as, quote, persons eligible for citizenship in the Mvskoke Creek Nation shall consist of Mvskoke Creek Indians by blood, whose names appear on the final rolls as provided by the Act of April 26, 1906, and persons who are lineal descendants of those Mvskoke Creek Indians by blood whose names appear on the final rolls as provided by the Act of April 26, 1906, except that an enrolled member of another Indian tribe, nation, band, or pueblo shall not be eligible for citizenship in the Mvskoke Creek Nation, end quote. The act mentioned in the passage is entitled An Act to Provide for the Final Disposition of the Affairs of the 5 Civilized Tribes in the Indian Territory, and for other purposes. This act, passed by the United States Congress, established a date for the closing of the final rolls of the citizens and freedmen of the 5 Civilized Tribes, also known as the Dawes Rolls. The Dawes Rolls were compiled by the Dawes Commission, which did so for the purposes of establishing land claims during the allotment process. In order for individuals to enter the Dawes Rolls, they had to fill out an application for an enrollment card. Blood quantum was determined by the Dawes Commission based on an application submitted by each individual that would include various documents such as birth records and death records. If approved, the individual would be entered into the roll with a notation of tribal affiliation, roll number, name, age, sex, blood, and card number. Individuals were not allowed to enroll in more than one tribe. The blood notation on this roll was the blood quantum later found in tribal citizenship enrollment and qualifications. There were issues with this process due to its implementation. According to the Oklahoma Historical Society, quote, "The series of problems with this group of records stems from certain individuals or families being enrolled by the federal courts, which did not have the jurisdiction to determine who was a citizen and who was not. Moreover, many non-citizens were enumerated who were in fact intruders residing within a particular tribe. The tribal officials fought the enrollment and enumeration and contested the right of the federal courts in Indian Territory conferring tribal citizenship. After much debate, the Secretary of the Interior wisely sided with the tribes. Thus, the census and enrollment of 1896 was disregarded and would not be used as a basis for enrollment within the tribes. With the latest defensive move by the tribes, the commissioners representing the Dawes Commission sought congressional assistance to force the 5 civilized tribes to negotiate agreements to prepare a final roll and eventual allotment of lands. In June 1898, the Curtis Act was passed by Congress, which forced the tribes to treat with the Dawes Commission. The 1896 enrollments were scrapped due to inaccurate data. Unfortunately, those individuals who had citizenship conferred by the federal courts were in most cases not notified that their citizenship had been overturned. This led to a variety of legal issues that ultimately prevented large segments of non-citizens from being enrolled by the Commission, as only the tribes had the authority to determine who was a citizen." End quote. Blood quantum requirements currently limit the number of MCN citizens that can hold office in the tribal government. According to the MCN Constitution, Article 3, Section 4, quote, "Full citizenship in the Mvskoke Creek Nation shall be those persons and their lineal descendants whose blood quantum is 1/4 or more Mvskoke Creek Indian, hereinafter referred to as those of full citizenship. All Mvskoke Creek Indians by blood who are less than 1/4 Mvskoke Creek Indian by blood shall be considered citizens and shall have all rights and entitlement as members of the Mvskoke Creek Nation except the right to hold office." End quote. These requirements for citizenship are constitutional and would require a vote of all MCN citizens to be amended.
And thanks again to Jared Moore there on this video series. Hopefully have a lot more coming for you, and you can find these online as well on MvskokeMedia.com, and you can access them, share them with your friends. These are, as I said, topics that are really hot topics at Mvskoke Creek Nation amongst citizenry. What happens with these things that we're covering, these subjects that we're covering, how they work in practice here at Creek Nation, and so forth. So it's a great resource, and please share that with as many people as you can. Moving along to our last feature of the day, it takes us to the new Margaritaville spot up at the River Spirit Resort Casino. That Margaritaville theme sort of makes its way to a brand new state-of-the-art event center. As we talked with Pat Crofts, the CEO of Mvskoke Creek Nation Casinos, about Paradise Cove. For the longest time, we didn't have an event center that stacked up with the other ones. Now we do. Great place. Glad to show it to you here today.
Paradise Cove is as you mentioned, it's a first-class entertainment facility. The thought there was it's large enough to attract the A-list entertainers. I mean, obviously we got Jimmy Buffett coming in. Thursday night of this week we have Don Henley. Friday night we have Alan Jackson. We've got Chris Rock coming. We've got, I said, Brad Paisley is coming. Tony Bennett. I mean, we've got the A-list entertainers, and the facility is large enough to attract those type of entertainers, but it's very intimate and it's very well built from a sound perspective. It's like a performing arts center with all the acoustics, concrete roof, and all the things that make the sound, extremely nice, in a concert environment. Not only will we do concerts, we'll do ring events, MMAs, boxing matches, we'll do comedians, things like that. And it's kind of an all-purpose venue, but it's a purpose-built venue. It's not, a lot of places have a convention center with a flat floor. They put risers up, they put a stage, they put a band on it, and the acoustics are okay, but they're nothing like, you know, a purpose-built theater, and this is a first-class purpose-built concert theater. The footprint of the theater is 90,000 square feet. It's over 4 stories tall. I mean, it's a huge amount of volume in there. It does have, besides 2,500 seats or so in the bowl, we have 10 VIP suites and 2 what we call party pits. Seats about 2,700 for concerts and things like that. It'll go up to 3,000 for sporting events, ring events. And it's kind of the total package. I mean, it's acoustically very, very well built. In the layout, we have oversized seats in it. A lot of venues will have 18 or 19-inch wide seats. You know, our seats are 20, 22, and up to 25 inches wide. They're very comfortable. We've got a lot of space between them. We're not like an airline that tries to cram, you know, every seat and every square inch and make you uncomfortable. You know, people come here, they'll pay a fair price, you know, for a really good act, and they need to be comfortable and enjoy it.
And that'll wrap up another episode of Native News Today. I want to thank you for joining us this week. Lots of things that we were able to cover. Once again, I want to thank Eli McIntosh, the new Secretary of the Nation and Commerce here at MCN, for visiting with us about his job, what he has planned for the future, and his assessment of what he has walked into as far as being on the cabinet here at Mvskoke Creek Nation. And we thank him for visiting with us in studio today. Also, Jared Moore continuing the series on our subjects here that we feel are pertinent subjects and to get information out on to the citizens. So a little video there on blood quantum. You can go to the website, check that out, and it'll be available. I think it may be available already on our online channel. So you can check it out there. Also, I want to thank Pat Crofts again for allowing us in with him to Paradise Cove. As we saw, you know, lots of big acts have already been there. Alan Jackson, Brett Eldridge, they had Don Henley, Chris Young opened up the place. So a lot of people are playing there. Jimmy Buffett, as you could see, Principal Chief, presenting him with the Mvskoke Creek Nation medallion. That was a cool moment there. So it's a big, nice place, attracting top talent, and it just brings in more revenue for the Mvskoke Creek Nation. Hopefully here in the next few months, we'll start feeling a real difference in what it's able to do for the tribe as far as providing the dollars and cents to provide for the people and the services. So it's a great thing to be able to cover it there, and we want to get as many people up there having a great time in Tulsa as we possibly can. So and getting the information out on it from the source, the CEO of the Mvskoke Creek Nation Casinos. If you've been watching us the last few weeks, you know, I always take the last part of the show to pub the website again, our social media sites. Please visit us on Facebook. We have all kinds of giveaways. We have all kinds of marketing strategies that we're implementing on our social media sites. You can't win things. You can't get the giveaways if you're not following us. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Mvskoke Media is all over it. Go check us out, follow us, and be a fan. We want to thank you all for being fans of the show. We'll see you guys same time next week.